Hey, on today's daily sprint, we're talking about increasing our purpose, passion, and meaning. And today we're unwrapping the phrase raise the lid. And I like that phrase because the lid typically is limiting belief or something outside that is holding us back. It could be our environment. Oftentimes it's tied to a limited belief. So how can you raise your lid? And I'm gonna tell you about a time where I had a lid back in 2012. I didn't even realize that I had the lid. And my particular lid was clinically called situational depression and anxiety. So I had never heard that phrase before. I thought like depression, I didn't know what it was. I thought it was like you just cried all day long. I've heard of depression. I think my mom had postpartum depression. I just have never experienced it. So I didn't know that I had it at all. And I was going into therapy, and that was who diagnosed it, was the therapist. He said, "Oh, you're struggling after several sessions with situational depression." So that's step one of realizing that you need to deal with something, or if you want to raise the lid, is you have to be aware that the lid exists. And that was the lid that was holding back my life at the time. If you ever struggle with anxiety or depression or know someone that does, it's like, some days you really don't want to get out of bed. You kind of lack purpose. You kind of lack meaning. At the time, I was just letting life happen. The gyms were about the gym that I had going through a divorce. It was like 6 months from going bankrupt, and I didn't even care, or I really didn't act like I cared. I cared on the inside, but wasn't doing anything about it. I just wasn't taking any action. It's just like the motivation just wasn't there. So step one is, okay, I had the awareness. So that just being aware of the lid, cool, was definitely step one. So then I was like, holy cow, wow, that sounds serious. And he's like, well, it can be serious. It could lead to, there's actually 9 different forms of depression. So situational depression could lead into other forms of depression if it's not dealt with. So I'm like, man, what do I do? And it's like, well, we're gonna continue to talk and we're gonna continue to work through this. And he did a really, really good job. This particular therapist did a really good job. Actually went to another therapist before him, and they both did very, very good job. And step 2 was deciding that you want the lid to raise. I didn't want to be dealing with depression and anxiety the rest of my life, because I saw what it was doing around my life. And even though I really wasn't crazy motivated to make a huge change, I knew a change had to be made. So that's when I got into group counseling around a group of individuals. So this is step 2. Got around a group of individuals who all were struggling with the similar thing, who wanted out. So they're like, okay, we have this lid and we want out. So step 1 is like the thermometer, okay? You have a thermometer. Thermometer tells you where you're at today. And that's where a lot of people just stay. They put this thermometer in their mouth and it's like, okay, you have a fever. And they're just like, it sucks. I've got a fever. I'm a thermometer, okay? That's it. To get out of that, you need to become a thermostat. Okay, and to become a thermostat, you have to be the one that's going to change your situation, change your climate, change your environment. So the catalyst for that change was to get around other people who had the thermometer, situational depression and anxiety, and then said, hey, I'm not going to settle for this. I want to become a thermostat. I need to change this. So together, through this group called Celebrate Recovery, I was able to get around like-minded people who were getting rid of this or growing out of this. And then I went and got around other people that were similar, that had grown to higher heights, and the rest really was history. Now you can still the situational depression or anxiety can still rear its head at any time. But now I've labeled myself, hey, I'm a thermostat. So when it does come up, I'm able to go back to what I've learned, get around the right people, the right environments to not allow that to be the lid. Okay, so let me know if there's a lid in your life that you might be struggling with. Maybe we can help you work through that. But again, step 1 is we need to realize that there is a lid, there is something that's holding us back. And then step 2 is to get around people who are helping you, who are lifting that lid up in their own lives, and also linking arms with you to help you lift that lid up and become a higher capacity human being. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great growth-driven rest of your day.